Hello everyone, it's Luli, and today I'd like to do a quick overview and excitement video about the 3 Otome games that are being localized by Aksys next year, or at least I plan to. I've played 2 out of 3 of them, and those 2 I really like. Really like. It's one of my sort of top kind of games. So I just kind of wanted to share my enthusiasm for those games and give quick summaries, maybe even, you know, like things I liked and maybe things I didn't like about it, and then a little bit more information that may be kind of lacking for the time being. And I plan on doing a kind of in-depth review video maybe closer to the time, but for now I just wanted to, you know, do a quick casual video about it because right now I'm super excited. But anyway, so the 3 that are going to be localized are Variable Barricade, Olympia Soiree, and Dairoku Ayakashimori. And I've played Variable Barricade and Olympia Soiree, but I have not yet touched the Dairoku Ayakashimori. So I sort of have a bit more information on the sort of these 2, the Variable Barricade and Olympia Soiree. As for Dairoku Ayakashimori, I kind of have an idea on what it's about and sort of what sort of people may like it and what people may not, because of my Twitter, who I follow quite a few of Otome people. But yes, those 3 that are going to be localized. So the first title I'll be talking about is Olympia Soiree. I think the key word for this one is beautiful, because the art is beautiful, the characters are beautiful, and the story is beautiful. Everything about it is, well, beautiful. And so it's all about this island whereby different people that are kind of categorized as colors are sort of they don't really get along necessarily, and there's a hierarchy, you know, some colors are higher than others type of thing. And the main character, who is the color of white, because she's the kind of like a daughter almost of the light goddess, which obviously the closest color is the sort of extreme light colors, but she's the only one left of the color white, so she kind of ends up having to look for a husband, I suppose. And the reason for this is because if the color of white person has children with a sort of whatever color, it becomes a white child, sort of a color of white child. The reason why I keep on saying color of white is because it's not really a race thing, it's more just kind of a color thing. But anyway, and yeah, so the whole story kind of revolves around her going around and exploring all the system of this island and looking for a husband, and it's just really cute, you know, because the romance between the main character and her love interest, the way the romance and the characters develop together is just really well done. There's none of this, oh, he likes her, okay, fair enough, that happened before I knew it. It's none of that. It's just really well written. And each character is quite different from one another, but they all have really good qualities. My favourite character would probably be the guy who's the colour of purple, which I cannot quite remember the name of, but it's really obvious because he's got purple hair. I found him the most attractive, but there are some scenes in the other characters that really made me go like, oh my god, this is so good, you know? So I guess that's kind of the summary of the story and why I liked it. And moving on, Variable Barricade. So this title, I'm kind of surprised because I've noticed that Aksys seems to kind of release all these games where it's got a very serious feel to it. You know, Pure Fiora was quite serious. Cafe Enchante, the bad ending, was quite serious. Yeah, even Colin Malice, Amnesia, they all kind of have serious endings. Variable Barricade, on the other hand, is about a girl who is from a rich family. And basically she kind of needs to find, well, her grandfather is like, right, since you're of age now, you must find yourself a potential fiancé. And she's kind of like, oh, okay, I don't really want to. And she's been like, you know, putting off all the offers. So one day the grandfather brings these 4, in Japan they're called damenzu, and the reason is because dame is like kind of bad, useless, kind of not good, and then men's as well, men's, and there's 4 of these damenzu and they all have problems. So one's a gambling addict, One is a natural toy boy, basically, so everyone ends up looking after him and paying for his stuff, whether he likes it or not. It's really weird. One's got a serious debt problem. He's just... yeah, it's amazing how he racks up debt. You'll find it amusing when you play it. And one's just... so basically, he almost committed a marriage fraud or something. But they are all very distinct, and despite having all these problems about them, they're just really interesting, let's put it that way. And it's not a serious title, so the good ending and bad ending aren't really... they're both relaxed, let's put it that way. So when you're playing it, or at least when I was playing it, I wasn't too concerned about whether I'll end up in the bad ending or a good ending, because whatever you ended up in, it was okay. The good ending's obviously like, oh, exciting, and then the bad ending was like, okay, but you know, that's whatever. It's not like a character's dying or another character's dying, or you know, someone's being tortured, or you know, it's not like Pio Fiore or Cafe Enchante where it ends up in the bad ending and you're like, oh my god, I feel so low now. So when I played it, I could feel really relaxed, and the main girl was quite a tsundere girl, so you know, to begin with, she's always annoyed by these guys because she ends up having to live with them, and but towards the end she gradually, you know, warms up, and it's really cute. In fact, watching her, you know, in fact, you know what, when I was playing it, I was even like, oh my gosh, I want the main character to be a completable character. I mean, she's just so cute. Well, at least that's probably because I like tsundere people. But anyway, so that's kind of like the overview of Variable Barricade. It's a game where I actually can't tell you which my favourite character is, and that's because I like them all. So when I first started, I was like, oh, I'm probably gonna like this character most, but I was wrong. Each one has the traits that are just perfect, so I can't really say whether I like one character more than the other. I know it's difficult to believe, but they are all my favourites. And so yeah, it's one of my favourite games, I would say. Yeah, it's just a really nice play. And the third one is Dairoku Ayakashimori. So as you know, as I said, I haven't played this one before, and it's about a girl who, I mean, you've probably read the summary on Aksys and stuff, but it's a girl who, you know, can see spirits and monsters and things, which makes her kind of, in a way, forced to transfer to this secret government organisation agency. And from what I've heard, it's not so much a story-driven game. It's very much you get to know all these different sort of non-human characters. I guess a bit like Cafe Enchante, but in a completely different setting. And it's all about getting to know those characters and how those characters develop, how that character's story is. And it's very much a character-based game where you play it to get excited about, you know, the characters. And apparently they all kind of, there are situations whereby they're all hanging out, and it's quite amusing to see their interactions. So it's not a game that you really go out to buy if you want a really, you know, really in-depth good story. It's more if you want the satisfaction of seeing these different characters and enjoying each of their routes. I've also heard that there are 3 endings. So there's the happy romance ending, the sad romance ending, and the friendship ending. And apparently, obviously, the happy romance ending is what you stereotypically get in an Otome game. The sad romance ending is, again, what you'd get in a stereotypical Otome game, where you feel a little bit kind of emotional about the ending. And the third is the friendship ending, which apparently is one of those endings where you kind of have a little bit of a giggle about it. You're like, yeah, that's quite cute, type of thing. So apparently those are 3. And I've also heard that to begin with, it may kind of be a bit slow and dry, if that makes sense. So a lot of reviews I've read have kind of been ones where they're like, oh, you know, I wasn't so sure about it the first time I played it, but then I went to the second character and I really enjoyed it. So if anyone buys it and then plays it and is sort of like, oh, I didn't really enjoy this, then it might be a good idea to give it a little bit longer, like maybe the second route or so. But obviously I haven't played it, and that's what I plan on doing when I do play it, and hopefully I can play it before the release date so that I can give you guys a more in-depth review about it. So that's that. So I'd say to summarize in terms of like who I would recommend, at least the ones that I've played to, is that so Olympia Soiree, if you're looking for really in-depth romance and you have like, you enjoy slight, not quite, I guess passion, because there's some scenes where it's slightly further than kissing. Obviously it's a Switch game, so you don't really see too much going on, but if you really like scenes where it's like a little bit more than kissing, then brilliant. And I like that sort of thing because it's more passionate, and I thought that was really good. I wouldn't suggest it to someone who doesn't like long games, because if I remember correctly, it's so long each route. I mean, I like that because it means the story's more in depth and I can enjoy it for longer, but some people, especially if there's like a couple of characters that you really don't want to play, it could get a bit long. But yeah, so I don't really have cons too much, you know. If you're not feeling like a kind of Asian setting, maybe, because it's quite, if you're looking for something that's a bit more westernized, the setting is quite Asian in the sense they might be wearing like kimonos or, you know, whatever. So yeah. So if you would like a passion and like deep romance and a good story, get it. If you don't want something long, if you want something you can complete quickly, and if you're looking for something more Western, like I guess Cody Realize, whatever, then yeah, I wouldn't go for it. As for Variable Barricade, I think definitely go for it if you're looking for like a really relaxed game where you can just kind of, you don't have to think too much about it, and also if you want a game that's quite easy to complete and, you know, if you're looking for something that's funny and enjoyable in a happy way, then perfect. Whereas if you're looking for something that's really sad and you want to feel like really depressed afterwards, which, I mean, sometimes I feel like that, so, you know, I think that's quite normal. If you're looking for something serious like that with like a fantasy story or, you know, non-realistic story, then I wouldn't go for it, because it's very, you know, ordinary life. She goes to school, she comes back, she interacts with her potential husbands, and, you know, it's that kind of game. So if you're looking for something really serious with like horrible endings or risk of death or whatever, yeah, I wouldn't go for it. But of the three, I think Variable Barricade is the one that I enjoy most. I mean, I might like Dairoku Ayakashimori, I don't know, but that's kind of my thoughts on it. As for Dairoku Ayakashimori, judging from what I've seen so far, I would say I'd recommend it to those who are looking for, I guess, excitement in terms of watching the characters develop and enjoying the characters more so than the story. But I would not recommend it to someone if you're looking for something long or something with like a really in-depth long story, because it does seem to be quite choppy. You can complete it quite quickly and it's all about the characters. So that's kind of my summary on who I would and would not recommend it to, in case you already want to start, you know, thinking about whether to get them or not. And yeah, so I think that's it. But thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and would like more review videos in the future, and hopefully I'll see you in another video. Bye!